Hello, Amanda here. I wanted to talk a little bit more about depression and the ways that you can heal depression naturally. So when at the very end of the last video about depression defined, I talked about the different types of psychotropic medications that can be prescribed to help with the serotonin reuptake inhibitors, the SSRIs, the NRIs that can help serotonin be produced in the body to increase mood. There are foods as well as exercise and being outside in the sunlight that can also increase our serotonin. Today's video is going to be about the different types of food and supplements that you can use homeopathically and add into your diet at home. First of all, dopamine is a neurotransmitter that sends messages between the nerve cells. It's called the chemical messenger. Dopamine plays a role in how we feel pleasure. It affects the part that we are learning, memory, motivation, how we sleep, our mood, our attention, plus many, many more influences that can cause depression. Other mental health diagnoses that dopamine influences is schizophrenia, ADHD, and addiction disorders. Serotonin is also a neurotransmitter, and it moves information from one part of the brain to the other. 90% of serotonin is actually found in our digestive tract and in our blood. So when scientists do studies on serotonin in the brain, there's actually no way to do that. So we technically don't know how much serotonin in the brain influences depression, but based on what we find in the blood is how we can figure out, oh, do they have less serotonin, more serotonin that's influencing their mood from their blood and their digestive tract. Most brain cells are influenced by serotonin that are connected to mood, sexual desire and function, appetite, sleep, memory and learning, and some social behaviors. It is believed that SSRIs and SNRIs will kick off the production of new brain cells to decrease the symptoms of depression. Serotonin has also been seen to have influences on obsessive anxiety, panic, and excess anger. There are foods that can increase the level of tryptophan, which is an amino acid that creates serotonin, that serotonin is made up of. Protein-rich foods that are high of tryptophan appear also in dairy foods, nuts, meats, chicken, yogurt, chia seeds, oats, nuts, beans, butter, tempeh, tofu, edamame for you vegans, lentils. They actually need to be combined with 25 to 30 grams of carbohydrates to release the insulin. This causes the amino acids in the blood to be absorbed by the body and create tryptophan itself. So if you think tryptophan amino acid, you need carbohydrates in order to create the serotonin. So it remains in the bloodstream at high levels following a carbohydrate meal, which means that it can freely enter the brain and cause serotonin levels to rise. Foods that are healthy carbohydrates are sweet potatoes, bananas, legumes, whole grains, oats, and buckwheat. What also helps an adequate supply of vitamin B6 to increase serotonin. So B6 will influence the amino acid tryptophan, which can be converted into serotonin. B6 rich foods are fish such as salmon, bananas, spinach, meat, potatoes, chickpeas, sweet potatoes, avocados, nuts, beans, and coconuts. So you can find that there's some overlapping between those foods too. And we can make some really interesting, tasty meals with that. There are also supplements that can be used. Pure tryptophan, which goes directly to the digestive tract, which is a lot easier to absorb rather than through food to create the serotonin. SAMe is a mood enhancer. 5-HTP, St. John's wort, and probiotics. St. John's wort has no actual research, and people with blood clotting should not take St. John's wort, especially antidepressants that increase serotonin. And probiotics increase tryptophan in the blood, helping it to reach the brain. Probiotics such as yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, also found in your supplement aisle. Any of these supplements you want to consult a doctor for because you don't know how it could counteract if you're already on a psychotropic medication, and it could counteract with the serotonin reuptake inhibitors with the supplement. So you want to be really careful about that. Always contact your doctor. One new supplement that is on the rise that we actually prefer more than St. John's wort is Rhodiola. It is a adaptogen. It has two key central nervous system functions in neurotransmitters, which are dopamine and serotonin. So St. John's wort works alone with serotonin. Rhodiola works with dopamine and serotonin. Rhodiola resembles St. John's wort, that they both increase mood, but whereas St. John's wort works exclusively with serotonin, basically a very mild version of Prozac or Lexapro, whereas Rhodiola, acting both serotonin and dopamine, is similar to a mild version of Effexor. Rhodiola can also improve memory and intellectual performance, fight fatigue, boost energy, and prevent stress-related illnesses. For people that are under a lot of stress, Rhodiola might be for you. Moving forward with our healing modalities for depression at home is exercise. Exercise triggers the release of tryptophan into your blood. It can also decrease the amount of other amino acids. This creates an ideal environment for more tryptophan to reach your brain. So any way that you can increase your heart rate for at least a minimum of 40 minutes. Serotonin is lower in the winter than in the summer. So if you can get into the sun for 10 to 15 minutes each day and do physical exercises while you're at it, it's ideal for you to be able to put those two together, and then you're getting the best of both worlds. If it is not ideal for you to be out in the sun, or if you have a skin condition that will not allow you to do so, you can consider or talk to your doctor about a light therapy box, which will increase the serotonin through a bright light exposure. Make sure that you do talk to a doctor, because if you have bipolar, there have been cases where it has triggered mania in some people. It is also found that hormones influence mood, and this is why it can worsen during the premenstrual time or during the postpartum after a baby, or around the time of menopause. Men generally have a steady level of hormones during the Middle Ages, so this isn't something that they have to really be concerned with. If you have any further comments, questions, videos, advice, I am going to post all of these links and resources in the description below. So if you have, if you want to do further research on your own and wondering where I'm getting this from, it will be posted there. Feel free to ask me any comments or questions or things that have worked for you, so we can share that with each other and move forward. And remember to always consult with a professional, a doctor, before you do any kind of supplements or extraneous exercise if you have a pre-existing medical condition. That way we know that you're getting the proper treatment and getting the help you need. So I will see you guys soon, and next will come a yoga and meditation on depression. Enjoy!